give up. You don't quit when it's hard, right? We know that. You keep on going. You don't say bad things about yourself when you're going through a tough season. You don't do bad things to yourself. You actually do something nice for yourself. I had my coaching group the other day and we were talking about self-love, self-care, actually, self-care. Because a lot of times, especially if you're a parent, if you're that boss, that CEO, that leader, all of these things, you know how to do nice things for other people. But when it comes to you, sometimes there's hesitancy. And I want to say, make time to do things for yourself. We threw a couple of things out there. Of course, prayer, spending time in the presence of the Lord. Yes, that bubble bath, reading that good book. There were so many things that came out. But what can you do for you? What can you do to celebrate your now on the way to your next? Sometimes, listen, the now looks totally different from the way that the next is going to be. But we don't quit in the middle. You don't stop when it gets hard, right? We don't do that. We keep pressing forward. You don't stop when people are speaking ill things about you. You kind of have to let it go in one ear and out the other. I have a chapter in my book, Don't Give Up, called Deliberate Titles. Those are titles that people keep putting on you, things that they say about you that are not true. And you have to be able to be, what's the word? Emotional intelligence, to be able to say this has nothing to do with me. This actually has to do with that person, and you pray for them and you release them and you forgive them and you start to allow yourself to be in spaces where people celebrate you and not just tolerate you. We're living in a world. The Lord kept talking to me about justice and the vulnerable, and that He was pretty upset about what people were doing to the vulnerable. And so He allowed me, just like He does with some of you, to actually walk through it like Moses walked through the wilderness and all of these things. But He was teaching me things that He wants me to share with others. We have some work to do. But for you, do something nice for you. Appreciate the you that God made. God doesn't make junk. I don't care what people say. You need to know that your identity comes from the Lord. I'm a daughter. I'm His beloved. He named me Yedida. That means God's beloved, the Lord's darling, and also friend. And I think that's why I get fought in the area of being a friend, because I love being a friend to people. But boy, oh boy, sometimes the enemy, your identity and your name, he will try to fight you the hardest in those areas. But you better not give up. You better not quit. We're in it to win it.